Well, hello and a very warm welcome to one and all joining us from different parts of the world tonight. I am Lion Navdeep Nigam, the second vice president for Lions Club of Mumbai Soul, and your host for the momentous 234th episode of the masterclass series, The Soul of Lions. Brought to you by Lions Club of Mumbai Soul, Leo Club of Mumbai Soul, and Vishwa Sindhi Seva Sangam. Powered by Property and the Anthem India Private Limited and Khanvale Resort Silvassa. Also, ably supported by our partners, the Green Exim, the International Agro Export Corporation, Property Anthem India Private Limited, Gretex Corporate Services Limited, and with the support of all our lovely sponsors and our brilliant guide, Lion Dr. Raju Manwani, we are here with yet another riveting episode of The Soul of Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, accentuating the fabulous February ensemble, we are here with yet another episode and the last for the month, where we have with us someone who is an inspiring personality while having conducted himself in the utmost Lionistic distinction and fantastic diligence during his entire tenure in the Lionistic fraternity. His Lionism career began way back in 1965 as a member within the fraternity. He went on to hold numerous significantly integral positions within the association and was majorly successful in them too. Owed to such substantial contributions to Lionism, he was elected to serve as the international director of the Lions Clubs International at the association's 63rd International Convention held in Chicago, Illinois, United States of America in July 1980. In recognition of his service to the association for so many decades now, he has received numerous awards of recognition to his service for the association, including the Medal of Merit, various extension awards, 100% District Governor Award, 2 International Presidential Awards, the District Governor's Membership Development Award, and the Master Key. He has also achieved 15 years of perfect attendance and is also a Melvin Jones Fellow. Well, if that was not all, in addition to his Lionistic activities, he's also the president of the Bridge Federation of India. He has served as president of the Pune Club Limited, president of the Maharashtra Bridge Association, the vice president of the Pune branch of Society of Clean Societies, the president of the Wholesale Kerosene Distributors Association, and many, many more. He's also been a member of the advisory board of the continuing medical education program of the Government of India, which assists in utilizing services of Indian physicians settled in the United States and seeking medical equipment from them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor for me today to call upon the highly decorated and dedicated Lion serving society with all his might, Lion Premchand Ratanchand Bafna sir.
Thank you very much, Navdeep, for your kind words of introduction. You were very, very generous. And may I say that, it was flattery. But I don't believe in inhaling flattery because it's like smoking cigarette, which hurts you if you inhale it. Anyway, thank you once again for your kind words of introduction. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank past International Director Lion Raju Manwani, who is an outstanding Lion leader, has made valuable contributions for progress of Lionism in our country and all over the world. Apart from that, he is associated with several social, cultural, educational, and religious organizations, and he is a very, very respected person. He is, apart from those things, he is at present international president of VAS, and that's a credit. I really appreciate that he has brought together community people from all over the world on a common platform and believed in promoting friendship and fellowship amongst them. So thank you very much once again.
Absolutely, I think the honor is all ours, sir. It's fabulous for me to personally be getting a chance to host you. It's fantastic. I very fondly remember the conversation that I had with you lastly, which was around 3 years ago on the telephone, where when I first became the Leo district chairperson and I asked you for a bite for the Leo district installation, and you were very kind enough to send me the bite the very next day, despite not having any formal introductions before or after that particular conversation. So thank you so much, sir, for that, and very, very, very happy to host you tonight.
I'm also very fond of Leo members. Since I was a district governor, I have
Yeah.
always promoted Leo movement. But how they should go about it in due course, we will talk about it.
100%. Before moving on to that, I think I would love to take you a little bit into flashback, sir. It's been a long journey that you've had with Lionism, 6 whole decades into the system. You must have seen a lot of roller coasters that have actually gone by the organization, and how the organization has obviously evolved over the years. But before I get to the technicality of that, I would love for you to address the entire audience that we have from various other countries around the world, and tell them a little about who Premchand Bafna is and where you hail from, and finally, how did you get into Lionism, sir?
Okay, my name is Premchand Ratanchand Bafna. I am born on 2nd of July 1941 in Pune in a business community which was run by my larger family. After my education in Sri Shivaji Preparatory Military School, actually education, my first year education was in a Marathi school in the temple. Then 2 years National Model School, that was Hindi medium. And then all of a sudden I was transferred or admitted to Sri Shivaji Preparatory Military School where the medium of instruction was in English and it was a public school. So that is what my basic education took place. Then I joined Ferguson College for 2 years with the subject of science. I was very fortunate that, I did not get first class, but 58.5%. But with that, I could get admission in BJ Medical College, which is a government college. And the last admission in those days was 52%. So I had done reasonably well. I studied for 1.5 years in BJ Medical College with anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. But unfortunately, when I was in third term, I lost my father. And with three younger brothers and sister, I had to take a conscious decision whether I have responsibilities towards my family members or I have to look after only my personal interest. Now, the first thought was more important for me, and that prevailed. So I thought that 4 5 years I will work and establish them and then go back to the college, but that never happened. Then I started my business. I used to come to Mumbai every day for 2 years, looking after our business of food grain, spices, and other things in Masjid and Bandar area. But that business really did not suit me, so I diversified into petroleum. I could manage to get Indian Oil dealership, though it was very strict that it was there was an agreement between government of Maharashtra and Indian Oil that marketing will be done only through cooperative societies. So I had to go to the Minister of Cooperation and convince how it is important to get dealership for private individuals also. And luckily, they considered my request at the age of 22 or 23. I met Brigadier Luthra, who was in charge of Indian Oil Corporation. His level was he was the top person, and I persuaded and told him. He said, "No, Bafna, I can't give it." So I said, "Brigadier, you are the top person, and you can't give it. I can't understand." So he said, "No, no, no, they will object." I said, "Okay, you give me the dealership. If they object, you can kick me out. There is no problem." So this is how I could get the dealership. And initially in the branch office, they asked me how much kerosene you will sell. I said, "I don't know how much LDO you will say." I said, "What is LDO?" That is how I started my business of petroleum. But within a year or two, I established myself as one of the topmost dealer of Indian Oil. We established a petrol pump. We started running transport of tankers. 80 trucks we were managing, my firm was managing. And then slowly I went into other businesses like tires, construction, then petroleum products, and various other activities I had started. This is how I got in. This is related with my business activities. You want to know something about lionistic activities or at a later time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you were doing very well on the business front. Obviously, you had gotten a little established, obviously till then. But what I wanted to know was, obviously when you got to the dealership at the age of 22, as you mentioned, by the age of 24, you were already a lion. So I just wanted to know an initial understanding of how while being so busy and occupied in the dealership and the establishment of something new that you had already started, and you had just started that, how did you get into lionism?
You see, I always had a feeling that apart from doing business and establishing my family members and brothers in business, I had a feeling that if I had become a doctor, I would have served the people. And the moment I had received an admission in BJ Medical College, I had convinced my father to purchase a land, which he had done 1.5 acre in Boat Club area. And I had talked to him and I had mentally decided one hospital for very wealthy people, one hospital for the people who cannot really afford lot of money. That is how my mindset was there. So back of my mind, I always wanted to get into social service, and I was approached by Rotary as well as Lions that you come and become a Lion member. When I studied, I thought I will go to Lions this thing. I had some people in Lionism who knew me, and I knew that they are doing outstanding social service work. That is how I joined Lionism. In those days, it used to take a lot of time. They took almost 4 months to decide on my proposal. I won't call it application because it is proposal. They said you are not a graduate, then you are so young, all these things. But after attending 3 4 meetings, they took a decision that okay, we are inviting you to become a member. Immediately first year, I was appointed as the chairman of the program committee. Next year, treasurer, then secretary, third vice, second vice, first vice, and president. While I was president or first vice, I was offered cabinet position by past district governor Ashok Modi, but I declined that. I said unless I become a president, I will not accept this position. And I recommended some other names, who were co-opted by Ashok Modi in his cabinet. After the presidentship, I was appointed as the editor of Maharashtra Lion. And in those days, there were no computers or anything. And one had to sit in a press and see that, composition is done properly. Still, I managed to publish 11 issues, and each issue was about 75 to 80 pages. Then, immediately after that, I was appointed as a deputy district governor. Now, what we call is region chairman. After I became region chairman, some thought came to my mind at the age of 38 that, not 38, I was 33, that I should become a district governor. So I talked to prospective people. In those days, my district was large, entire Maharashtra except Mumbai. And
Yeah.
today, in that area, there are 4 districts. So I talked to about 10 people who were likely to run for that office. But they said, Mafna, if you are going, we will not come in your way. Ultimately, somebody motivated Dr. Shah from Malegaon to contest against me, but it was one-sided and I was elected. But I took a decision that day itself. I will not talk to anybody about cabinet. I straight away drove away to Mahabaleshwar, decided upon my cabinet of 75 people, so no influence will be there, though people had come and met me. And the telegrams were sent. Those days, even telephones were not working so
Yeah.
nicely. So we appointed a cabinet of 75 people. After that, I did not charge any money from any cabinet members. We conserved the money. There were no donations taken from anybody, no joining fee. And at the end of the year, I still gave about 150 rupees to each cabinet member from the money which we had saved from our district dues. That was a very good thing. Another important thing I did was I ensured that Naval Rai become governor. Naval Rai sponsoring speech was given by Dr. Bhalerao and Dr. Pramod Shah. Even I supported them and made them governor. So all the 3 people who were not with me at the time of my election, they were taken in my cabinet and they were also made as a governor. This is how my linistic career
Wow.
went. And then in 1980, I was elected as a international director. I took
Yeah.
endorsement in Jaipur. Uh, Somebody from Mumbai, I don't want to take the name, was interested in contesting against me, but that contest did not happen. I was alone, single-handedly endorsed. Attendance was only 156 delegates in Jaipur, and I was
Mm.
confident that I will have the full support, which was next year finally endorsed in Mumbai, and I was elected international director. This is what is my distinct career in Lionism. What activities I have done in Lionism? At another point, I can tell you what are my
Oh yeah,
contributions.
absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic journey. A lot of things that I would love to ask, and we'll break down the journey a little more. to make it more interesting for a lot of our viewers. Firstly, I would love to know a little about the Maharashtra Lion that you just mentioned about.
Mhm.
What was the Maharashtra Lion? Is it still existent? And how did you get a chance to start it over? And how did it go? Tell us a little about that.
Well, it was a difficult proposition, and Dr. Vani, who was elected as a governor, uh, I don't have any literacy background or anything, but he had faith in me, and he got me involved. That you become the editor of Maharashtra Lion, and I accepted that challenge. I made it very, very interesting. It is not only publishing the photographs of the club activities. Even today, as far as our Lion India is concerned, I'm always telling them that apart from that, we have to have 7 to 8 articles in which people will be interested in reading. So get articles from renowned authors, have a column for jokes, astrology, and even cooking these things. So something is there for something to read about it, and that is how Maharashtra Lion had become very popular in those days, and people were reading. I hope something like that can be done in other areas also, wherever they have a district publication. It was not an easy job because, as I told you, there were no computers. One had to go and sit in the printing press and check the proofs there, and it would take time to do all these things.
Fabulous. So technically, it was a district publication, Maharashtra Lion, something which was started. And do you think any particular idea why the district publications have now stopped? So because I think it would have been a fabulous understanding, as obviously my Lion or the Lion that comes out is not able to obviously cover all the events that are even sent across by a lot of clubs. The district might have been able to cover a lot of events by a lot of clubs, and that would have been very encouraging. Why do you think it has stopped now?
See, we have to make it. No, you must be aware what is the percentage of the people who are reading our magazine.
Yeah.
Why they are not reading? When I published Maharashtra Land, there was question of cost. So I got in touch with Rahul Bajaj and Kirloskar and all these people and took advertisement from them. That is what one way I could recover the cost. A
Yeah.
paper merchant was there, Tapadia. I motivated him. He was a Leo member in those days. His son was a Leo member, and we could get paper at concessional rate. Now, your question about how to make it more interesting, I can tell you briefly. Ask a question yourself. If you get a district publication, whether it can be published or not today, that is the economic thing that we will put it aside. You will ask a question: Why should I read it? Same type of photographs of individuals, which is not motivating me. See, if there is an activity which can be printed in such a way, and there is, short this thing, 2 or 3 lines only, because people are intelligent enough to understand. If you write an article of 1 page, nobody is interested or nobody has the time to read it.
Yeah.
And they are again same activities. So, how you publish, how you market, it depends on that. Today, maybe one of the reason is cost, but I think the cost they are only talking about, because you are aware how much money is collected from cabinet officers. If 5% or 10% of that money is paid, a magazine can be published. Now, it doesn't have to be on art paper. It doesn't have to be a very expensive thing. Okay, forget about printing. It can be even on an email. Send it to people. But if you make it interesting, people will read it and there will be a response. The question, as I mentioned earlier, also, it should have varied these things: education, literature, articles. I had even suggested that we should even be willing to pay a substantial amount to a renowned person to make an article. I'll give it. We had published a souvenir. I approached Rahul Bajaj and requested him to give an article, and he was very happy to forward it, and ask me certain questions and all those things, and they did it. So if something like that is there, if you find Rahul Bajaj on the face of the magazine, I'm sure you will open it and read it. So it is up to us to make it interesting, and not having money is the excuse. I think money can be raised. Lions are quite competent and who can afford it. If we can spend money on elections, why can't we spend money on magazines?
Absolutely, I think that's beautifully put. That's a very encouraging thing. Also, I think this is one of the essence of this particular show that we have had for such a long time now. It's been 4.5, 5 years almost since we've been running the show. A lot of things that we come to know. I have first time heard of a district publication thanks to you today. And I would love to kind of take this particular concept forward also. I think it's a great concept. It should definitely go out and can be explored in a much more integral way. Just to let you know, as you mentioned about creativity, Leo's around 2 years ago published the first comic book in the history of Leo's around the world, and I think that was very much appreciated. And they are now in talks with two of the major energy drink companies to make it into an animation-based movie. Which can be very motivating for the youngsters around the world because that is the genre they like to follow. So yes, of course, taking up from the creativity that was initiated by leaders like you, I think it's a fantastic move. Uh, Moving on, Premchand sir, it's
No,
been
I would like to ask you a question.
yes,
You
sure,
are
sir.
Leo. You have been a Leo district president also. What is
No,
the
sir,
purpose of
I've
a
been a
Leo?
Leo district chairperson, not a president.
Okay. What is the purpose of a Leo movement?
I think the purpose of the Leo movement, as of when we started off, obviously it was to encourage the youth to kind of get involved within personality development, to give them opportunities to evolve as individuals, to learn life skills out of this particular movement, and then finally to get converted into Lionism and contribute towards society also. I think
Okay.
that was yeah.
Whom are we giving this opportunity?
So we are
Your
giving this
children,
opportunity.
my children.
Sure, sir.
Are we giving this opportunity to people, children from the families who cannot afford all these things?
Oh yes, this is something which is very much started, sir. Now.
I will give you an example. When I was a district governor in district conference at Mahabaleshwar, I requested Leos to carry 6 glasses. There used to be and move into the auditorium and serve water.
Hmm.
Entire management of food arrangement was with Leos. They were collecting the coupons, they were looking after the people, and after everybody's food, they were enjoying it. Now, I have asked a question that, today what is happening and what I have seen over a period of time, Leos are trying to do what exactly the Lions are doing. It is experiencing leadership and opportunities. Now, our children get this opportunity in their day to day life, wedding, birthday, other functions, family functions. What about those children who do not get these opportunities in their day to day life? What can we do? One Leo member asked me, I said, how are you in your studies? He says, I am very good. I always get first class. I said, okay, you want to know an activity? I'll suggest an activity to you.
Yeah,
Select 3 students from your class and be their teacher twice a week and see that they come up to higher level. Can that be done? Why
absolutely.
Leos are having meeting in 5-star hotels? They should meet in schools, wedding halls. So in a way, in those days, Leos were not putting their hand into the pocket of their parents for organizing function. It was very sorry, I'm if diverting a little bit, but I
No, no,
think
not
this
at
is
all.
very, very important as far as the Leo movement is concerned.
Sure,
And
sir.
we have to give this opportunity to those students also, those youngsters also, who cannot get them in their day-to-day life.
Absolutely. No, I think just to develop on that particular point, sir. In the last 5 years, especially talking about District A3, as I've been associated to the district for quite some time now, there have been internship programs, there have been various clubs that have been opened with a view to give an opportunity to the people and the kids, and also the children who are coming from backgrounds where they don't get such opportunities, but have the capability to make it big. And in fact, the collaboration of all of this has actually led to a lot of new discoveries and a new intervention in the Leo movement overall. Also, I think that has been one of the major reasons why A3 as a district also has gone global when it comes to getting known for the amount of projects and the kind of projects that they are also doing, especially adjusting with the times that are now moving ahead at such a rapid rate.
Percolate it all over the country, let it not restrict to A3. Let
Absolutely,
this message go to everywhere. And, if that happens, I would say that Leo movement is definitely very, very successful. And then
sure,
automatically they would like to become a lion member.
100%. Moving on, sir, I would love to start with, obviously have your perspective with regards to three major things that we obviously, that our Lionism stands on, the pillars of Lionism, which is service and leadership as well as membership. Starting off with the service, you know I love to ask this question to especially people who have an experience in Lionism for more than at least 3 to 4 decades. A lot of them have come on the show and told me that एक वक्त था जब 80s में या 90s में हम कहीं जाते थे to conduct an activity, so people used to treat us like celebrities. It was almost like, okay, the Lionism, the lions have come. It's almost like saviors have come to our place to give us something great and make our town amazing. Where in the last decades that you've been in the system, how do you think the Lions image has evolved, and do you think it's on the downside now, or has it maintained itself, and what are the reasons why you think whatever you feel has happened?
See, I'll give you some example of activities. 72, 73, when I was club president, there was famine in Maharashtra. And we started Bhaji Bhakri program in Khed Manchar area. Few thousand bhakris were prepared every day. The ladies were invited. They were asked to cook, and then the food was sent to these affected areas and given free of charge or for 8 annas. Then 83, one Mrs. Dr. Devdar approached me and Mrs. Vaidya, Women's Council. They said there is no hostel in Pune for working women who come from all over Maharashtra. So I approached the collector. Collector Srinivas Patil allotted half a acre of land in Ganeshkid area. We did a fundraising program. Then I talked to Mr. Mohan Dharia, who was the commerce minister in those days. I said, Dharia ji, this is what activity we want to do. How can government help us? He called me after 2 days that, government of India has 8 lakhs of rupees with them. So I can release it. They don't know how to spend it. So immediately these two ladies went to Delhi, got the money, and there is a working women's hostel in Pune with 40 rooms. This is there for last 45 years now. When their silver jubilee was there, in that ladies function, I was the only man who was invited to see that, what work they are doing. This is one. Simultaneously, Kamaini, there is a physically challenged students who were also working or staying in a shed in Pimpri Chinchwad area. So I told Gordon Shetty, who was one of the governor, past governor, that let us send a LCF project and we can do something for them. 83, myself and my wife did the Bhumi Pujan. For even working women's hostel, I did the Bhumi Pujan. And that school is still there, where more than 500 physically challenged students are studying. Now, these are the activities which really brought us. I'll tell you one more. In Leprosorium, in Pune, there is a Leprosorium. And Dr. Jal Mehta, who was working as a director with Punawalas Serum Institute, he approached me that Mafna, we should do something for the Leprosarian people. So I said, okay, let's go there. We went there. I had a cup of tea prepared by those leprosy patients when people were not willing to go even 1 kilometer area that time. And we convinced people that let us do something for them. We established a factory for them with the help of Kirloskar and Telco. 5 CNN machines were installed. Now, these are the type of activities which we were doing in those days. Today, what are the activities we are doing? Yes, good activities, blood donation, eye camp, eye hospitals, these things are there. But I personally feel we should identify one specific activity, say city of Pune, say whether it is garbage problem, either drinking water problem, whatever it is. And Lion should say that it will be our program for 5 years and help to solve that problem. That is how we should do. Otherwise, more of advertisement and less of activity. This is what sometimes, the community is feeling. And I'm asking another question. Are our activities growing in the same proportion as of membership? See what was there 40 years ago. If membership was, say, 100, how many activities we do, actual
Yeah.
real value of that activity. And today, if the membership is 1,000, How are we having the activities in same proportion?
I think that's a fantastic point that you've made. I believe anyone and everyone who has had any sort of doubts, and there's been a lot of discussion with regards to how membership is supposed to be increased. I think just a simple calculation of the proportionality can give us all the answers. I think that's beautifully put. I think, taking a gist of what you just mentioned, sir. I understand that the concept of running projects which are going to be long lasting, which are going to be self sustainable, which are going to be impacting society for a long time. All the things which are, probably a part of every Lions service grant form are things which should be very easily understood by the Lions. And I think that's a very important point that you bring up. Just to ask you a follow-up question on all the experiences that you just mentioned. You mentioned that you went to, the ministers to talk about things. You went to the collectors to talk about things. You were talking to all, genres of people, to get them involved somehow in the landscape activities, and to obviously, on a larger scale, help society somehow. What my question to you is, a lot of people in today's day and age try and enter Lionism, and then they are a little clueless in terms of if there is a particular project which is beyond their capacity. They think that, yeah, there are no ways and means to kind of get that particular project done. Could you give our viewers a little example on how to convince people of such stature, how to approach them, to get them even interested to look at your projects? Uh, just give them a little gist in terms of how to do that, because you've done that very successfully.
See, basically, my experience shows whether government office or industries, they are willing to help. But unfortunately, many a times what happens is I go to a minister, ask for certain help for undertaking an activity or land or something. Next week, I go to him for personal work. Now, that is where, the clash comes. So the minister doesn't understand whether I have gone for my personal work or I am doing something social work. Same thing with industries. Now, industries, I have worked with many, many industries. Now, CSR is there. If you go to, Udaipur, or if you go to Mumbai, or if you go to Aurangabad and ask those top industries, because I have conducted a seminar 4 5 years ago on CSR. It was very new concept. How Lions can get involved in CSR. Why should industry give money in our hands? Ultimately, they are business people. They want mileage out of it. Can we give them that mileage? Goodyear company told me, okay, we'll give you so much of money, but do our activity in Aurangabad. Copper, they told us that I think Hindustan Copper or something, that okay, we'll give you the money, but let the activity be in our area. Now we have to adjust ourselves in that particular fashion, gain their confidence that whatever money they give will be properly utilized, proper accounting will be done, and they will also get a mileage. Then only these things can happen. And it should not be with the intention of getting something personally done. That is where, we are failing.
I think that's beautifully put once again. I think it's a very, very important point. I would just like to inform you a little about. You mentioned CSR. Of course, Lions have been doing CSRs, but I still believe that, when it comes to even the district that I belong to, which is A3, not a lot of Lions in today's day and age actually, take the route of approaching CSRs, which is bamboozling, because honestly, since the government mandate, it's become even more approachable compared to what it was. But on the contrary, sir, as times have changed, the young people have started to become entrepreneurs at a very early age, like yourself, like you became. Leos, in the last 3 years, have started an activity called Leo Service Forum, where they are handling and doing 2 to 3 different things at the same project. The Leo Service Forum basically has given opportunities to the Leos to firstly prepare a project, so do a recce, and then understand how things are done, how things are supposed to be done, and then prepare a full-fledged report for it, and then present it in front of CSRs. And the Lions, obviously, I got an opportunity to bring 3 to 4 CSRs to look at their project and how the presentation was done. So, personality building, public speaking, presentations, project management, all of these things have been catered. And at the same time, in the last 3 years, the prize money that started off with 1 lakh rupees is now this year gone on to 6 lakh rupees from different CSRs to conduct projects. So I think it's a fantastic thing that you started off during your time, which is way ahead of your times, and it's actually been carried on very well. So thank you for that input also, sir.
No, I would congratulate you for what you are doing, but study what is happening, Leo movement or Lions movement all over the country. See, one of the main problem is membership development. What we are doing, are we following the indoctrination process? Are we telling him what exactly is going to get of Lionism?
Yeah,
It's like, when we take a member into our organization, it is just like standing on the bank of a river. You can see the beautiful scene, flowing of water. If you put your feet into the water, you will know what is the temperature of the water. But unless you jump into the river, you will never
yeah,
be able to fathom the depth of the river and understand what it is. Same thing is
absolutely.
with Lionism. Unless you get into mainstream, get actively involved in activities and administration, you will never understand what is the depth of the Lionism. And if that depth is understood, that individual will never leave Lionism. And then the type of activities will be totally different.
100% agree, sir. I think it's extremely important, and that is something which we've been trying to do at our levels. Of course, I try to do my best when it comes to trying and telling the Lions across India as much as I can. Even in the very recently concluded Islamic Forum, I had conversations with different Lions. Obviously, it's great to hear about those things. One of the other questions that I had with you, so you obviously belong to this particular multiple, and belonging to Maharashtra especially, we've obviously seen a lot of projects being happening around Maharashtra as well as in other places. Now, when I got a chance to actually visit a lot of multiples, during my time with even lawyer and Dr. Raju Manwani, he took me across for attending some convention. It was very interesting to kind of know what people are doing across India. What I found out was, sir, now, so to say, Mumbai obviously comes in the tier one cities, but having my own experience in Lionism in the last 6 years, I've when I saw people working across the country, people in Ahmedabad, people working around in Surat or even in Bhopal, various other multiples across India. What I found out was, service on one particular end in a tier one city like Mumbai has become a very commercial compared to the amount of service that these guys end up doing in other multiples and cities is so much to do with high quality impact for a very very long time, which brings me to a point wherein they are people who have MOUs with central and the state government for years and years, which make their projects run, which help the people year after year. Their projects become sustainable. Whereas in tier one cities like Mumbai, the kind of projects that we are doing, they kind of serve people for 1 year and a particular strata of people. And then obviously the projects fizz out and the other person takes over as president, and then obviously they start their new projects. What is your perspective on how the project interventions are also looked at when it comes to Lionism these days?
See, I'll give you some examples. There was an earthquake in Latur area many years ago, about 25 or 30 years ago. And I happen to be the chairman of Lions of India Service Trust. Since 89 till today, I'm the chairman. I'm continuing to do that. So I appealed to our general body meeting in Lions of India Coordination Committee that we want to do something there in Latur area, and we will construct homes. So 1.5 crore was immediately approved by everybody there. They contributed. There was no funds with the organization, so they gave district wise. We constructed 250 houses there. Now government told us that this is our drawing. I said no, we don't accept this. We are going to construct houses which will be earthquake proof. We know what are the needs of the villagers. In front of the house, garden, house, kitchen, backyard, there will be a stable for the cows and whatever it is, and washrooms and all those things. Now, after seeing those 250 houses, World Bank gave us 4 crores of rupees for constructing another 500 houses. And till today, that 500 and 750 houses are there. Now, these are the type of activities which are permanently. About 4 5 years ago, when Nareshji was elected as a vice president, he asked me, Premchand, what type of activity I can propose and take up as a president, discuss water and latrines and all those things. I said, this is not our job. I said, I'll let you know. I happened to be in Vancouver. I went to a beautiful garden there. Beautiful garden, lots of flowers, plants, trees, everything. And many people were going here and there. Children were also there. And I realized there is no place for children to play. So I came back and told Nareshji that let us have children's park. He liked the idea, asked me to prepare a project report which I prepared and gave it to a magazine committee who sanctioned 1 crore of rupees. Then Nareshji talked to Nanda Kumar, Mannapuram, PID Nanda Kumarji. He immediately sanctioned 2 crores, which was increased to 3 crores. Now, out of these 4 crores, we have sponsored 100 children's park in India. And wherever they are there, people are coming and reporting that exceptionally good 300-400 children are going there and playing every day. And the condition was the remaining money has to be spent by the club and no charge will be there. It will be complimentary. Now, Mumbai, I tried my best to tell in Mumbai that in Mumbai there are so many societies and colonies, but for children there is nothing to play. So why can't our club start in that colony? At least, 2 swings and 1 slider or something. But it's unfortunately didn't happen. But if we do this type of activities, then things can be different. They are permanently, and it is not only establishing a children park. You can have exhibitions there, you can have meetings there, you can have, children's child art competition. I will tell you something you might be aware or no. Ashok Modi was the person who had started uh, 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 drawing competitions, Lions Club of Juhu, and it used to take place in Juhu, that park where airplane and all those things is there. Such a wonderful activity. I don't know why it has been stopped. We don't continue. So we have to do activities. I'm happy what we are doing today, establishing hospitals and other things. But these are the activities which will bring us close to the public. This is what I personally feel. I hope
100%.
you have any further clarification?
No,
I
I think
have
I
not
think
addressed your question.
No, no, I think that's perfectly answered. I think, sir, it's extremely important for all of us to be staying close to the community. I think that was one of the major reasons why Lions, why people used to be resonating with Lions a lot more as compared to what it is in today's day and age. Especially with the, they used to say that a lot of PIDs told me that when we used to wear the Lions jackets, the yellow ones, they used to automatically recognize that it's obviously the Lions coming. So I think that is the kind of image building that we need to do once again. Moving on to a very important part and very important aspect of Lionism, so which is leadership. Uh, there's a lot of talk with regards to the Lions Leadership Institutes that we have, obviously the Lions Learning Center that we have, the courses that are available online. But even in today's day and age, sir, with my own experience as a personal, on a personal level as a Lion, I've seen that a lot of people in today's day and age are also not very well aware of these leadership courses. Secondly, I also believe, having done most of them and due to do FTI very soon, I believe it's important for Lions International to actually give a thought to customization of courses when it comes to leadership, especially when it is ranging differently to certain constitutional areas. Why I say that, sir, is the kind of projects that we do, the kind of allowances that we have in Constitutional Area 6 are extremely different when it comes to Constitutional Area, say for example 1, and that is the same case when it comes to Leos. Even in the Leos, if you see the proportion of Alpha and Omega clubs is absolutely inverse when it comes to these two constitutional areas, and thereby I believe there needs to be a revisit of the curriculums that are designed for these training programs. You've obviously been a purview to all of them, having held a lot of posts. Your perspective on this, sir?
See, basic question we have to ask ourselves is what is the purpose of that leadership training program? We have to understand that whether you want to make a participant, you want to motivate that person, you want to make him a good public speaker, you want to part with knowledge and tell him that exact purpose has to be there. And if that purpose is there and accordingly if the curriculum is prepared, then things will change. Today, as far as I understand, that things have become mechanical. Things come from United States. Now I have so many times told them that what they do there is good for US. Maybe it needs amendment as far as our country is concerned. I have even gone to this stage of telling international president that your international president's program should be two for entire world and two for each constitutional area depending upon the needs of that constitutional area. For India,
100%.
Isame, South America, it could be different. Japan, they don't need anything like that. So it could be different. Similarly, leadership program, when it is developed for a particular area, the purpose should be very clear. And that purpose, if it is not clear, then it becomes monotonous and mechanical. uh, I don't think we will get the desired result. So as I mentioned, the purpose is give knowledge, give information, motivate them, make them a good speaker. What is the purpose? That purpose has to be clearly understood, and the curriculum should be drawn accordingly.
I think that's a very important point. I think it's the same purview that I have also been following up with the international for some time now. And it came to light actually, sir, because when I was the Leo district chairperson, I wanted some statistics from Isame, and I just basically asked them the number of alpha clubs and omega clubs that are there distributed as a constitutional area. And that is when I came to know that the inverse proportionality of existent clubs in the United States compared to India is very different. Just to give you a small example for your information, is we were trying to develop this particular schema wherein a lot of Leos who were entrepreneurs at the age of 22, 23, 24, running their own businesses, they said we can do our audits, and we can do the audits, of course, even for our clubs. So it's not a big deal for us. So why are we not, given the CSR allotments, and why do the funds need to kind of go through the Lions fraternity and come to us? Because we are running our multi-million dollar businesses ourselves at the age of 23, 24. So I brought this point up, and when I came to know this, the concept of not having a PAN card, or the concept of not having a bank account, or the concept of not having a CSR is there in the United States, because the number of Omega clubs, which is Leos from 18 to 30, is 93 to 98, and the number of Alpha clubs in US is 1530. And when it comes to India, the Alpha clubs are 400, and Omega clubs are more than 1200. So I think it's a major difference, and I believe that is applicable to Leos as well as Lions, both of us, in terms of the catering of needs when it comes to programs or projects. So I think a very important point from you. I think I'm very happy to hear that you actually brought it up to the international president also. I think
Yes.
it's something which,
Apart from that, Leo movement, I certainly feel we have to customize it.
yeah.
Have you, asked the Leo Club to arrange two meetings of the sponsoring club every year? Just two meetings. Give them 2 meetings. They will do everything: venue, food, entertainment, whatever it is. Give them two activities which they will implement it, and Lions will be observers. Then there will more involvement of Leos will be there, and when they surpass the age, they will automatically feel, no, no, I should become a Leo Lion member. The question
100%.
is, should I become a Lion member at the age of 28 or 30, when life has become so competitive, and for I have to struggle a lot to meet my both the ends? Why should I go and become a member of the Lions Club?
I think so. On that particular point, I would just like to say that I myself have observed, being a person who's an engineer, and post that I did my master's. Uh, when I joined the organization at the age of 28 myself, some of the questions that I asked was obviously to do with why am I joining this organization? As you very correctly mentioned, we don't ask members, why have you joined? What is the reason? What do you want out of the organization? And the answer that I had, I was very clear when I joined, and I talked about the incentives that Lions International provides. I knew about the organization. I had done my research. I wanted to do an executive MBA. All those things pertinent to this, and also building networks with the district collectors, with the government officials, is much easier when you're associated to a social organization. I believe these incentives are never talked about to the prospective Lions, or even the ones whom we pitch the concept of becoming Lions. Do you think this is something which actually causes a lack of awareness amongst people, and they become a little reserved in terms of joining Lions?
No, what is happening is Leo Club is practically functioning as like a young Lions Club. As I mentioned, Give responsibility to Leos. Two meetings of the sponsoring club they should organize. Two activities totally to be undertaken by them under the supervision of Lions. Then see their whole approach will change. They will automatically understand and learn that this is why I should become a Lion member. That has to be there. This is what I personally feel.
100%. Sir, one of the important questions in today's day and age, obviously, is the changing demographic that we see around. It's happening globally. The kind of passing the baton kind of thing is actually happening on every front in today's day and age, especially when it comes to lionism. The average age for a lot of clubs has gone really high. The kind of global demographics when it comes to age is very different. Intellectualities, ideologies, all of them are very different in today's day and age. What would you think of when it comes to how to handle different kinds of age demographics in a club? Let's not talk district, let's not talk international, let's just talk club, because obviously that is the foundation, that's the root of our organization. If there is a particular amount of population which is truly young, and there's also an established tenured population within the club who's run the club for so many years, how do you think the club should basically adjust as an entity to still keep running at the same pace and get better?
See, what happens is as the club grows age wise, the people also grow up. And the new members, when we are taking, they do not feel so comfortable with the elderly people because we have waited, suppose a club has a membership of 40 and all the 40 have become quite elderly. And then all of a sudden you bring in people in the age group of 25 to 30, they won't be compatible, they won't be comfortable. So what has to be done? It has to be a continuous process that a club has started. Every year you take 5 or 10 younger people so that they get assimilated from time to time with the older generation. Then there is a tendency, there is a club I know in Pune itself, only chartered accountants, no problem. Only doctors, no problems. Only youngsters, no problem. But unless the elderly people and the younger people mingle with each other and remain in a club, you will find the difference will be totally different. So if there is a club of only chartered accountant, their approach will be totally different. If there is a club of only young people like 25 or 35 or 35, 40 maybe, their approach will be different. But if there is a good blend of elderly people and younger people living together properly like in a family, if there are elderly people and the youngsters are there, you don't throw out the elderly people out of the home. Or the elderly people don't tell that the younger generation is going for dogs. This is what every generation has been saying, but none of the generation has gone to dogs. You see the history, every generation says, every elderly people, every elder generation, senior generation, that younger generation is going to dogs. Which generation has gone to dogs? On the contrary, they are doing a little better than what they have done, and that reality has to be accepted by the elderly people. They feel, no, what I have done was best. The younger people don't understand anything. No, they are doing much better than what I have done. That approach, if there is in the Lionism also, then this integration will properly take place.
100% agree. I think that's a very potent answer once again, sir. Moving on to our main pillar, if I may say so, which is obviously membership. There are a lot of talks about membership on how things are going across the world. There's a huge wave of Mission 1.5 that is going on. Uh, Personally, sir, of course, what is your perspective of membership? How have you seen membership, the membership pendulum, if I may say so, evolve, or rather get turns in all these 6 decades that you've been a part of Lions? If you would like to elaborate today, sir.
See, we have to attract individuals to become a member. I'll give you an example. We are talking of 1.5 million member. In 1987, at Taiwan Convention, we passed a resolution and amendment a constitution permitting ladies to join a Lion member. What was our membership at that time? 1.35. Today, what is our membership? 1.4, let us say, or 1.37. Out of this, 400,000 are ladies. That means, as far as men are concerned, we have lost 400,000 members. Has anybody applied that? What is the cost of taking a new member? We have to analyze that. Cost of member servicing a member in India, Japan, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, or USA and Europe is totally different. All that has to be studied. And again, I mentioned some time ago that if you just invite somebody and make him a member, he will be like a person standing on the bank of the river and only see the water flowing. He will not jump into the river. He will not be able to fathom the depth of the river. Same thing is with Lionism. If a person comes there, proper indoctrination has to be there, and let him understand what Lionism is by getting involved into activities and administration. Then he will stick around. That is what is very, very, very important. We can't run after people. We have to create circumstances by which members will come to us. You remember in Mumbai there was Lions Club of Shivaji Park. They had a ceiling of 50 members, and there used to be queue of another 10 or 20 members to join, and only when somebody passed away or somebody resigned he would get membership. Today what is happening? And in those days, Shivaji Park, nobody was willing to resign. In those days, people were not willing to go out. So, you see, I'm saying that, okay, we want to have 1.5 million members, but we have to create circumstances and conditions that people will approach us. That I want to become a Lion member. Take me in your club. I'm interested. Unless those things happen, it will not be easy to achieve that target. And whether even if you achieve that target, whether it will be as fruitful as we want it to be.
I think that's you hit the nail on the head once again, sir. I think it's extremely important to kind of understand what are we wanting to achieve. Is it only going to be numbers, or it's actually going to be good and
Yes.
efficient land members who are going to be sustaining also along with that particular number achievement. Moving on, just we've got a little amount of time on our hands, so I would love to ask you this particular question also. In your time, whatever resources were available, you did the entire marketing section yourself by doing the Maharashtra Lion and the publishing of the magazine and stuff. Very recently, Lions International had to establish a marketing vertical of its own. In the days of technology, when technology is rampant around the world, we've actually gone on to establish a marketing vertical. While in the days of advertisements were very rare, those were the times when Lions had aura of their own. It's a contradiction of its in itself, that when we didn't have technology, we were more popular compared to what we are in today's day and age after having so much amount of technology. How do you see the concept of marketing vertical, and where do you see the aim of this particular marketing vertical that has been introduced by Lions International, sir?
I would like to ask a question. Only by marketing you will attract people to join Lionism? As I
No.
mentioned before, we have to create circumstances, show them that, this is what Lionism is, and people should be attracted to us. Marketing is letting people know what we are. It should be restricted. If you get, I'm not a technical person, but if you make too complicated and technical proposal of marketing, I don't know, whether it will work or it will not work. According to me, marketing will be what activities we are doing. You see, if I have a friend, I want to propose him to become a Lion member. I should take him to a Lions meeting. I should take him to a Lions activity. Let our activities be shown in the people. I can tell you this children park has done tremendous marketing for us. Just imagine about 3 to 400 children coming to the park and playing every day, 7 days a week, and then parents come there. Then they would be willing, they would be interested. There, if we can arrange an exhibition that this is how you can become a Lion member, these are the advantages, these are the activities, this is what I had told them. So marketing, only technical marketing or the bookworm marketing, I don't know to what extent it will work. But marketing, if it is blended properly by attracting them, that they will be benefited by joining the organization, then it would be proper marketing. This is what I personally feel.
Once again, I think it almost just feels that you're so in depth with Lionism that all the answers that you are giving are just absolutely perfect and very inspiring, sir. We've got very less amount of time left. It's been an absolute honor talking to you, but I think that is one of the major reasons how I've not realized that so much amount of time is gone. But before we end the show, sir, if you would just like to give all our viewers, Lions, non-Lions, a lot of Leos and non-Leos also watching this particular episode, if there's one message if you would like to convey, what would that be, sir?
Well, I would only say that peep into your heart and mind and see, ask a question what you owe to the community which has done so much for you and your family and your loved people. Do you owe any obligation to them? Then try to fulfill that obligation. How to do it? You decide whether it should be through Lions Club or through anybody else or any other temple or wherever you are associated. But I can suggest that Lions Club is one of the most available avenue for you to fulfill that desire of yours. And let that desire come out and come and join Lions organization.
Fantastic. I think we ended on a fantastic blend. Also, thank you so much once again from the entire Soul of Lean Lions team, Premchand sir, for coming on the show. I've not only had a chance to talk to you now, but I've had an whole hour of speaking to you and discussing things of Lionism. It's been an absolute honor for me. The other place where I actually saw you and your name was the quiz when we prepare for the quiz in terms of the youngest people who've termed leadership in our organization. That is also where I saw you. So it's an absolute privilege that I've gotten today to have a chance to talk to you. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show, sir.
Thank you, Navdeep. Thank you for all your kind words, and it was a pleasure to talk to you and share some of my thoughts. I hope I've come up to your expectations and expectation of other listeners. Thank you very much. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode number 234 of the Soul of Lions. I'm sure all of you must have enjoyed this episode. Anyone who's not watched this episode as of now, please go onto our YouTube channel, Lion Dr. Raj Manwani, and watch this particular episode as well as all the others that you've missed. There's a lot to learn about Lionism. There's a lot of things that you can actually get to know in terms of facts, which we probably as normal individuals living our lives would never encounter. It's important sometimes to know about these facts because they might be life changing and they might actually give you a direction in terms of serving society to the best of your ability in your own lifetime. This is your host, Lion Navdeep Nigam. Until next week, it's good night and goodbye.